one of the things that becomes harder to hear sometimes is when the same trade has worked over and over and over again. Sometimes when the market is obviously telling you that that trade's not working anymore, that you don't get the hint that the trade is not working anymore.
Man, I'm suing. I almost got rich today. Okay? Stop sticking your hand in the jar. You get, man, listen. I'm not, that I told you yesterday, I was out of selling the call business. So I'm going to talk about real, actual investing and trading strategy. But I just can't.
Long Road to Profit. This is your host, JR. First things first, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. See the disclaimer in the description. Man, I'm just going to give you a quick market update. Not a long video today. No big training, but we just got to talk about the overall market and where we are and what you should be doing and what I'm doing. And first of all, what I'm doing is getting my head took off. Hey, you know, one of the things that becomes harder to hear sometimes is when the same trade has worked over and over and over again. Sometimes when the market is obviously telling you that that trade's not working anymore, that you don't get the hint that the trade is not working anymore. Okay, so the tech trade's not working. That's just not a working trade. That's not mega cap tech stocks. That's not a working trade. Um, the areas that I'm winning are industrials, financials, steel, Bitcoin, anything but big mega cap tech is basically it. And definitely growth is no. Okay, I don't know. You want to talk about Square? You want to talk about Shopify? You want to talk about all the ARK and all their ETFs? They've been getting massacred. They're actually down for the year. I think I'm like down 1% for the year, something like that. Right now, after last week, it was not. No, this is not how the year was supposed to start off. We didn't want to start this off like this. We started off really well, and then you know, sometimes it gets you. You get too long. You can't be greedy. You gotta be careful, not be so greedy. So, this is no good to dwell on our failures. We must figure out how to win. And I'm thinking, at least based on where I saw the futures at tonight, and the momentum. I mean, that was a big swing. One of the keys, a teller, is when you start to see just odd moves in the market. Like the Nasdaq on Friday got crushed, and then you look up at the end of the day, it's like it was like 1.8% or 1.5%, something like that. And Nasdaq was up. Biggest intraday move in a year. So, tell me that's a good thing. Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but I know it's a weird move, which is telling me maybe the trend, because there's been a trend for maybe the last 3 weeks. Maybe that trend of killing the Nasdaq is over. I don't know. I still don't think the Nasdaq's leading the market. I think the best you can hope for right now from Nasdaq and mega cap tech is to be probably flat to down the next little bit. But I think the Dow might continue to roll. Bonds played an outside role in the market this past week. I mean, we got big stimulus on deck. There's supposed to be a lot of growth. The some of the economists predicting 10% GDP growth. You look around the market and what's winning, and it's everything that's been sucking for the last year, maybe 2 years. Some of it's been sucking longer than that. Like GE been sucking. Okay, you've been a sucking company if you've been in GE, but GE is booming right now. The Boeing business is booming right now. I mean, it's the industrials are booming. So I'm circling back to maybe some circling back to maybe some trades that I was in the HVAC companies, Honeywell, Carrier, Train. I'm looking at some of these companies. I'm looking at value. I'm ditching the growth trade right now. I mean, I'm still long some growth. Tonight I might man, listen, I don't know. Because when the portfolio is long, this is why, having futures and options helps you a bit, because when you go through times like these and you start to get bearish on the market, it's not just, oh, let me get out, I got to get out of my money. No, I'm short. Damn you, short. Okay? You're not going to keep taking my money. You want to go down, we're going down. I'm going to write it down, okay? Or I'm going to get neutral. I'm gonna get new. What I mean by getting neutral? I mean I'm long stocks and I'm gonna be short futures. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get neutral, okay? And we'll just I'm long options. Yeah, I'm long, and a lot of times that's what happens because at least for me, I like to sell premium, and I'm selling short putts. So when you're selling short putts, you're long the market, right? Because if it goes low, then you gotta no. So I may have to get short the future to balance me out, and if I'm shorting anything, it's gonna be the Nasdaq. It's not gonna be the Dow. It's not gonna be the Dow because I could see days in the coming weeks where the Dow is gonna be up and the Nasdaq's gonna be down, just like what was happening. It was a complete reverse for the longest time, and now market's changing. So the key lesson, kids, when the market is changing, you have to change with it. You can't just keep going full headed, rushing into the trade that's worked just because it's worked for a year. That trade may be over. If you're trading. Now, if you're investing, what you should be looking for is cigarette butts, looking at the ground, trying to figure out what you can buy that you just want to put money in. For me, I put it in Bitcoin. I put it in Ethereum. And when you talk about companies, I kind of gave you the list of the companies that I want to be in right now. If they're in commodities that are getting stretched, I hate gold. I hate gold right now. Gold has been getting killed. I don't want to put any money in gold. I'm scared. They got me scared. The fear index is up. Maybe that one of the things that they say is when you start to get too fearful, that's when it's probably a buying opportunity, right? Because the market always is kind of opposite. Usually when people feel like nothing can go wrong, everything goes wrong, and it's no shock that we were sitting at all-time highs and the market said, not quite a correction yet, but definitely a correction in certain sectors. And so the correction has happened in some of the big tech names and the big growth story names and ARK and some of these other places. The correction has already happened. Some of those are down 10, 20% on the year right now if you were too loosey goosey with it. So while the overall stock market's up a percent, 1.5%. So that's telling you a story. There's parts of the market. I do not think that we're in a period where we're going to see any kind of long-term bearishness in the market. I think that whatever bearishness we see is going to be somewhat short-lived because we're going to see big growth numbers, and I think that stimulus money floating around, it's going to find its way in the markets. It's going to send the markets higher. It's just, are you going to be in the right place when it's sending the markets higher? Because last year what we had was a complete market sell-off, and you could almost throw a dart and pick what was going up. That's not the case this year. So if you are new to the market, you just got in it, and you feel like you was throwing darts last year and making shit go up, you better recalibrate, because you're gonna have to get slick. You got to start to get dip in and out, and realize that unless you're looking to buy Square as a long-term investment where it's going to grow into its current valuation, which is like 400 some times earnings, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I can buy Goldman Sachs right now for 13 times earning. That's a fact. That's a fact. Be ready to see some big moves, maybe the other direction. So, you know, I could be completely wrong and buy the industrials and they get hammered tomorrow, but I doubt it. I'm going with my gut. I'm going with what the market is telling me that the reopening trade is the place to be. So what we're going to be looking for, if you follow me on Instagram for the rest of the week, all I'm looking for is reopening trades that haven't hit insane valuation. Some of them, I mean, they've been running up already. I'm looking for the reopening trade that hasn't hit an insane valuation. I'm big on Vegas for some reason. MGM is one that I'm kind of scoping out right now. Like, I think I'm in a little bit of MGM, but I don't have a big position. But because it's a travel destination and etc. Right? Retail look like it's got a little overpriced in the short term. These are the things I'm looking for. I'm looking for up days in tech to unwind positions, rebalance the portfolio, become a little more delta neutral to delta short in the short term, right? And buy more Bitcoin. So that's what we doing. That's what we doing. Long road to profit. Your host, JR.